Hey there, grade 5. This is our little math thing today, and today all I want you to do is work through this. So I'm going to help you first, so hopefully you're watching this, just to go through some of these questions. So we're not really learning any new concepts, so this should all sort of fit in, right? So we'll start with this one here. So our first question is, how many times can 2 go into 4, right? We look at the first, or the closest number to us, or the largest number, and we're going to be working in this. And we can tell right off the bat, these are hundreds, right? This 4 is 400. So we're thinking how many times can 2 go into 400? And really we just kind of think of this as 2 going into 4. And it can go in 2 times, right? And this would be in the 100 zone, so we're almost like saying we're going into it 200 times. But yeah, so 4 goes into 2 times, so 2 times 2 is equal to 4, and then we subtract this, and we get, well, 0. What we do next, grade 5, is we bring in the tens, right? Because now we're going to think about, can we work with the tens? We can't, obviously 2 doesn't go into 0, so we look at this 3 here. We're going to write this 3 down here, and we're asking, how many times can 2 go into 3? Well, it can only go in there one time, right? 2 can only go into 3 one time, and that would be just 2. And so again, we just put a 2 under here. That's a terrible looking 2. 2, and we're subtracting again, right? It's the same kind of process as we go down. So 2, and this will give us a 1 here. And now we drop this 2 all the way down here, right, to help, right? We're just getting help here. And so we bring it down, and we see 2 can't go into 1, and so we should get this 12 here now. So this 1 was a 10 ones, but now we're thinking of it as 12 ones, or yeah, it was a 10, 1 10, but now we're thinking of it as 12 ones. So how many times can 10 or 2 go into 12? It can go into 12 6 times, right? 6 times. And so we put and hopefully you can maybe write this in smaller, neater numbers, right? We put our 12 here, and you are going to ultimately end up, and I'm just going to do this over here, 12 minus 12 is equals to 0, and so there's nothing left. So we have remainders of 0. Or you don't even have to write that. And this is where our answer ends up. So we say that 2 can go into 432 216 times. Now some of you might have been able to do this in a different way, of course, without doing all this, because 2 is normally simpler. But this is how we do it in the long division format here. So I'm actually going to make this page a little bit bigger for our next one, just so that I don't have to feel, there, can I put this here? Oop, there we go. So there we go. So now we'll do the next one. How about we just do this top row to help you? So this looks more daunting because it's now 4 numbers, but it's actually the same exact process. It's not too much more difficult. So we first look at this 2. Can we put it into the 2? No, we cannot. We cannot put it into 2. So what we have to do is, instead of just dealing with 2 thousands, we're going to look at the hundreds as well. We're going to turn these 2 thousands and make this 25 hundreds, right? So we'll look at this as hundreds and say it's 25 hundreds. And so we're not going to put anything in this block. So your book says what we should do if we can't go into here is we should put a 0, just to say we can't go into the thousands. And so now we're looking at 2500. So our answer will come over here. So can 4 go into 25? Yes, it can. And if we know our multiplications, we should know that this will be 6. But if we have to, we can count from 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we put our 6 here because that'll make 24. If we go to 7, that'll be 28, and that's too much. We can't go higher than this number. So 24. Oh, that looks like 29. 24. We subtract this, and we're going to get a 1 here. We're going to get a 1. And what we do is 4 obviously can't go into 1. If you get a number that you can go into, you've done this part wrong. So you always, then the next step will be to bring this 5 down. So we have 100 here. So we're asking how many times can this 4, but we're going to bring this 5 down because we can break it up. So 5 can, how many times can 4 go into 15 now? And we can again do our counting for 8, 12, and then we would go up to 16. So 16 is too big, and 4 times, so we have to say 3 times, right? So 3 times is what we're going to do. And this will give us a total of, right, 12, right? So 12, and then that will break down. We'll subtract this, and that'll give us 3 left over. And then we bring our 6 down, and we have 36. Now, so right now, if you're counting this out, this is going to be kind of long, right? We get to 6 times, that's 24. Then we go 28 with 7 times. Then it's 32 with 8 times. And then we have 36, which is 9 times the number. So what we know here is we put a 9 here. 4 can fit into 36 9 times, and it is exactly 36. You subtract this, and you get a big old 0. So we have a remainder of 0, and this will be our answer. 4 can go into this 639 times. And so that is where we find our answer to it. So 2,556 divided by 4 can go into this 639 times, right? So that is what we would get. So if this was broken up into 4 groups, that would be the amount in each group. So if you had this many dollars, you break it up into this much, and whatnot, right? So division, just as something to note, right? Division's really important. Mr. and Mrs. B were talking the other day about a formula, right? A formula to make a balm of some sort. I did the math part. I didn't know what we were actually working on. It was some sort of a balm or a lotion. And so this is something that people make quite often. And what you need to do is you actually need to use math to do it. And division is a big part of it. So you have 14, and then I don't actually have the sheet here anymore. But you have, you sort of have a equation, and we have to use division to do that. And so what division can end up doing for you is division can you can use this to serve your neighbor, right? You can serve your neighbor. In chemistry, right, when we make medicines, this uses division, and it serves your neighbor. In building things, you also have to use division and multiplication to build houses and stuff. And again, it's serving your neighbor, which is something that we're all called to in Christ, right? So we all want to kind of work on this and really find that we can do this, whether we're a boy or a girl. Oh, there's a bathroom break. Or yeah, whatever. We can all find a way that to use division to serve our neighbor. So it can be very, very helpful. So don't just give up on this, right? This is really useful stuff. So again, we'll go from here. 7 goes into 6. Does it? We cannot go into 6, right? So the same idea again. We're going to have to go into 64 instead. So we put a 0 here because we're not working there. Or the way I do it is I often leave the 0 out because I think it looks awkward, and I just put something in the second place. You're just not putting anything there anymore because you can't go into that. So you're now going into this, and you put it on the back end here. Because it's actually going to be, you're not going into 6,000, you're going into 64 hundreds. And so you put your answer in the hundreds column. So 64, this could be a bit hard for us to think of. This is a bigger one. If we don't know our multiplication tables, this is going to be one that we're going to count forever for. So one tip, if you don't know your multiplication tables, is you can kind of use benchmarkers, right? So one thing we would know is 7 times 10 is equal to 70. So 7 times 9 is going to be 7 less than that, right? 7 times 9 is going to be 7 less than that, and 7 less than 70 minus 7 is going to be 63, right? So 63 sounds like it would fit, right? So 9 is the amount you can go. Now you can do the skip counting, but I would suggest saving yourself time by either jumping to a benchmarker and then counting back, or doubling, right? So we know that 7 times 5 is 35. We know 7 times 4 is 28, right? And 28 plus 28, which is doubling, is going to give you 63. I'm making a mistake there somehow. But anyways, we're just going all over the place. I don't know. What did I have? 28. 28 plus 28 is, as we do this, this will be 6, and this will be 56. So then we go up another 1, right? It's not, we can't double it, but that gives us 56. Anyways, I confused myself there with all my talking. Okay, so we go 9, we get 63 here. We subtract this, right? We're gonna end up with a 1. You're bringing this 1 down, you get 11. Now 7, can it go into 11? Yes, it can, but only one time, right? So we just do that. It'll be minus 7, and we'll be ending up with 4. Now 7 can't go into 4, which is a good thing. We bring down this 3, and how many times can 7 go into 43? Well, it can go in there. We know that it's going to be 6 times, because 6 times 7 is 42, right? Now, so again, you can count those all out, but really it's just best to know your times tables, or else, right, as you saw with me, when you try and do some of these tricks, it can get you all confused, right? So it's best just to know them, and then you can just know that 42 is the closest one, and that is going to be 6, right? So 40, we're just going to do this on the side here because I've run out of room. 43 minus 42 equals 1, and so what we end up is with a remainder of 1. So this is how we can do it here. This is our answer, and we get a remainder of 1 this time. Okay, so we'll go again here. 3 goes into 6. This time we can do it, so that's nice. A nice change of things. We can do it 2 times, and we get exactly 6 minus 6, so we get 0. Bring this 1 down. You have 1. We can't actually do that, so we have to bring the whole 18 down. And so 3 goes into 18. What happens there is that if we can't get anything into this 1 and we have to bring another down to help, we put a 0 here, right? Because 3 can go into this 1 0 times. So we have to put a 0 there. And I guess that's why they sometimes put a 0 here. It's just to keep it consistent. So we put a 0 there because we couldn't go into there. So 3 can go into 1 0 times. So we put it there. And now we have to look at these two numbers together. This is kind of like what we do in the beginning if you can't go into it. So now we're just looking at these two numbers together. And 18, it can go in 6 times, right? So 6 times, and that would be minus 18. And then we get 0, and so we have a remainder of 0. Right, so this is kind of how you go through these questions. I hope this helps, and I hope that you can work through these after following this. And if you have any problems, we can kind of work to figure that out. Anyways, hope this helped you guys and that everything went well. Cheers. Bye.